Let's go ahead. Let's dive into some Dynasty teams here, ladies and gentlemen. As I pull this up, make sure you're dropping a like on this live stream. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you play Dynasty Fantasy Football. And of course, if you want me to break down your Dynasty team on a podcast, you can find the link to flockfantasy.com both in the live chat, the comment section, as well as the description. When you sign up for flockfantasy.com with promo code FLOCK, you're going to get 30% off any subscription. And on top of it, you will get put in our Discord where you can send me your Dynasty team to break down. Real quick side note as well, let me actually show this off just in case anybody missed it yesterday. So you should have seen the announcement that I made. Go to the setup announcements tab. So if you are a member of both flockfantasy.com as well as Underdog Fantasy, you'll see a link to this Google form. Let me show you what this is as well, just because I want to make sure that everybody is getting their Flock shirts here. Okay, come on. Let me see it. There we go. Okay, so essentially, go to the link, go to this Google form. If you want this free shirt, if you're a member of flockfantasy.com, all you got to do is tell me, yes, I'm a member of flockfantasy.com. Here's my flockfantasy.com email address. Yes, I use promo code FLOCK on Underdog. Here's my Underdog Fantasy email address. Here's the size shirt I want, and here is my address. Get me those, ladies and gentlemen, and I will be happy to go through and send that shirt out for you. But I think that should be it. Let's go ahead and let's dive into this team here. First team we're going to be looking at coming out from Captain Nemo. First off, my man, love the Discord name. Second off, saying, Mason, really happy to be a part of what you're doing. Haven't watched you for a while. It's awesome to see what you've built from an entrepreneurial standpoint. Genuinely inspiring and happy to support. Thank you so much, my man. Here's the situation. This is a 10-team half PPR super flex. I recreated it in 2019 with 9 of my close friends, and sadly, I have never been able to be competitive. This year looks to be another sad one. I'd love to hear your thoughts on my roster construction and how I could potentially build a championship team in the future. I've tried sending away veterans like Waller, Evans, Lockett, but no one's willing to give me more than a third in return. Side note, I currently have an offer that would give me 2 late 2024 first, 2 2025 seconds, and 2 2025 thirds in exchange for CJ Stroud and Jameson Williams. It's very tempting to have 3 firsts next year, but it seems a bit too early to move on from the young guys. So, I mean, if we were trying to go through and break down the pieces of this deal, I would sell CJ Stroud for 2 2024 first. But the issue becomes, okay, are we really excited to sell Jameson Williams, who's someone that honestly I'm not even a big fan of, but for 2 2025 seconds, 2 2025 thirds? Reality, no. In reality, even if I'm not a big Jameson guy, I'd rather just hold on to him there. So, I mean, if we could get back to this guy and go, hey, man, I will sell both players for 3 2024 first if he has them, or I'll go and sell both players for 2 2024 first, even if they're late, and 2025 first, right? If we can get 3 future first-round picks in return for these 2 players, sure, let's go ahead and let's ship them off. But instead, if it's going to be a deal like this, I just don't really see where the upside comes in for us, right? I mean, pulling up this roster, we are going to see, yeah, that's a team that probably should look to rebuild for this next season. We're currently sitting with Anthony Richardson, Jordan Love, as well as Kyler Murray and CJ Stroud at quarterback. So, I mean, we have a lot of long-term quarterback value, but in my mind, quarterback is where we are going to be able to just park value and not necessarily have it change or crater from one offseason to the next. Like if we play for 2024 here, right? I'm confident Richardson's dynasty value is not going anywhere. I'm confident Stroud's dynasty value is not going anywhere. I'm confident Kyler Murray's dynasty value is not going anywhere. Jordan Love would be like the only guy where I could see his dynasty value either skyrocket this next season if he performs well, or crater if he goes out there and turns into a pumpkin and the Packers replace him. So one other thing that we could look to do with that deal is instead of trying to trade away CJ Stroud and Jameson Williams for that pick package, if instead we could trade away Jordan Love and Jameson Williams for that pick package, I would be interested in that. and that it would set us up in a position for in 2024 to have Richardson going into year 2, Stroud going into year 2, Kyler Murray fully healthy. And then at that point, if we can earn the 101, hell, we have a strong base to go through and contend next season. Going over to running back, all these guys are sells, right? Like if we are looking at Najee Harris, I mean, this is a running back that, while yes, I think he's probably a decent value in like underdog drafts right now. And I do think that we should probably be targeting him when we can get him at a discount. However, for a rebuilding roster, there's just really no incentive for us to have Najee Harris. Like it doesn't really matter if Najee Harris goes out there and is the running back 12 from a points per game this next season, right? Maybe that's a value compared to where he's being drafted in redraft leagues right now. But in reality, when he turns 26 this next offseason, it doesn't really matter what his production looks like unless he's a top 3 guy. He's probably not increasing his dynasty value. Not to mention that at the same time, as you were already saying, we want to be scoring as few points in our starting lineup as possible. That way we are able to go through and we are able to get the 101 next year and bring in Caleb Williams, or maybe get the 102 next year and bring in Drake May. But being able to just have that top elite level asset adding on to our team for pretty much free, right? Now, going over to Zeke, like you were saying, it'd be nice to sell, but nobody's offering you more than a third. To be honest with you, I don't think you're ever really going to get anything more. I mean, maybe when Ezekiel Elliott signs, at that point, we could go look through and look to sell him for a second if he finds a favorable landing spot, right? Like if Ezekiel Elliott goes to Kansas City, then at that point, yeah, we can probably sell him for a second rounder. But as it stands today, you're just not going to get anything for him. And if we were to sell him, I would try to get a little more creative with the deal that we are looking for. Maybe what we could try to do is maybe we could try to, say, package together Ezekiel Elliott in another type of deal just as a little sweetener to get the other owner to pull the trigger, right? Like say we go back to him with that owner that that offer that he had and saying he wants Stroud and Williams for those, the 2 future firsts, seconds, and thirds. And we go, man, I'll give you Jordan Love and Jamison Williams for that. And he says, no, it's close though. Then just go, okay, well, let me throw in Ezekiel Elliott and let's get this deal done. I think that would honestly maybe be a better way to go about that. Now, going over to our bench at the running back position, I mean, we have Roschon Johnson, someone I'm fine having on a rebuilding roster. Like there is a possibility this next year, obviously, that Roschon Johnson increases his dynasty value. And then outside of that, we don't really have much. I mean, we don't really have anybody that we really need to talk about. Now, going over to wide receiver, we have Olave. I'm completely fine building our dynasty team around Olave going into year 2 on a rebuilding team. Even if we don't want to score a lot of points this next year, I think we're still fine just holding on to Chris Olave and seeing how this is going to go for the long term. Now, I would definitely look to see what we could get for DK Metcalf. It's not like DK Metcalf is someone that we need to sell. I mean, obviously, these wide receivers are going to have a longer runway than what we're expecting with the running backs. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of a similar stance to what you're going to have, of course, with Najee Harris. And that if you're looking at DK Metcalf, I mean, the man's going to turn 26 in December. So the type of season that he would have to actually increase his dynasty value would kind of need to be obnoxious. So it's most likely not going to happen, right? And I'd most likely rather just sell DK Metcalf, see what we could get. Maybe you pivot off of him and instead you get Quentin Johnston plus some future value, right? So if you could go through and maybe package together DK Metcalf in a future second and get back Quentin Johnston in a future first, or Jordan Addison in a future first, just a wide receiver in that range that's younger, maybe an ascending asset that won't be as productive this season, I would like a move like that. Now, you're saying nobody's giving you anything for Mike Evans. Nobody's giving you anything for Tyler Lockett. Yeah, just in general, it's a difficult time of the year to sell them. I mean, I would probably just look to maybe hold at this moment. If we were looking to sell these players for anybody in particular, I would like to go through and sell Mike Evans for maybe like Zay Flowers. That'd be nice. But let's go ahead and let's look at our bench. We have Josh Downs, Kadarius Toney. Tony's very interesting in that I have no idea what to do with him, to be honest. This is a player that I feel like you could see a wide range of outcomes in what happens with his overall dynasty value and his overall fantasy football value in general, right? Because if you're looking at what Kadarius Toney did on a per snap standpoint, Kadarius Toney was hyper efficient as a rookie. Kadarius Toney was hyper efficient as a second-year player. Now, the issue is nobody has ever really given Kadarius Toney a ton of volume. So in terms of like selling Toney, I think he's fine on a rebuilding team, dependent on if you believe in him and dependent on if you think his value can go up. Obviously, we're fine having Josh Downs. Obviously, we're fine having Sky Moore. And hell, I mean, we just talked about possibly trading for Zay Flowers, and we already have him here. So those wide receivers are just fine. And let me see if you said you tried selling Darren Waller. Obviously, Darren Waller will be someone that we're looking to go through and get rid of. I mean, with Waller, we have Kyle Pitts at tight end, so it's not like even if we were contending, he's not going to do much for us. And with Darren Waller at the same time, I mean, this is someone that is just so damn old at this point that, I mean, it doesn't matter if he's the tight end 3 in fantasy this next year. He is going to see his dynasty value fall off. So, I mean, we need to go through. We need to look to sell. I mean, if we're looking at what we can get in return for Darren Waller, it's going to be much easier said than done to sell him. Maybe what you end up having to do is, I mean, one thing I would love to do is sell Darren Waller for like an ascending tight end, right? Like if we can just move off of Darren Waller and in return get someone like Pat Frymuth, even if we have to throw in a small piece. Maybe that's going back to the Ezekiel Elliott type move, right? Where Zeke is just used as a throw-in. So maybe we can offer Darren Waller and then for Pat Frymuth straight up. And then when he says no, then at that point we go through and say, okay, well, what if I throw in Ezekiel Elliott for you? Is that going to move the needle? But overall, I think this team, once we make those moves, selling those veterans, we'll be in a very good position in 2024. We just need to make sure that we get this production off our roster. That way we can earn the 101 in 2024, bring in Caleb Williams, and whether or not we hold on to Caleb Williams or look to sell him for a massive haul, similar to what you could get for Bijan Robinson right now, I think either way, this team's going to have that influx of talent, and we will be in a very good position, especially if we can pick up a couple additional 2024 first. But again, thank you so much, my man, for being a member of the flock and supporting the channel. Really do appreciate you. And as always, if there's anything that I can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and let me know. And if you want to get that Flock Fantasy shirt, I'm assuming you already signed up for Underdog with promo code FLOCK as well. Just go to the announcements tab, fill out that Google form, and be super happy to send all that stuff out for you this next week, my friend. But let's go ahead and let's look at our next team coming out from CK Wall. Thank you, my man, for reaching out saying, hey, Mason, would really appreciate some help with the roster if you could. The draft got kind of wrecked for me after I accepted a trade on accident that took me out of the middle rounds. And so just went for youth and the rest of the draft, which may have not been the best strategy, but I'm up for challenging the challenge to turn this thing around. One thing that I have noticed in a lot of different startup drafts is people making trades on accident, right? And I don't even want to blame anyone, especially on Sleeper in a startup draft in particular, because if you are looking at the display that you get when someone offers you startup picks, at times it can be very confusing if you are not used to it of which side you are actually getting and where the picks actually are. Like if it's, hey, I'm trading you a DK Metcalf for Najee Harris, obviously there should be no confusion. You should know who you have on your team. You should know what's going on. But whenever it's just like, I'm trading you these 6 startup picks for these 6 startup picks, I've seen a lot of people actually make the mistake there. But usually if it happens, I mean, you should be able to shoot a message in the league chat saying, hey, that was an accident. That was an accident. Please switch this around for me. But I mean, it is what it is. Now going over to this 12-team Superflex, I've attached screenshots of the rosters and the settings below. I've tried trading away Kenneth Walker for picks that got me Dalton Kincaid in a third. Honestly, not a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of trading for rookie tight ends in general. On the site, Zach actually put up a pretty good article looking at historical rookie tight end production. But nonetheless, also flipped Travis Etienne for a 2024 first and 2 future seconds. 12-team Superflex, it's fine. I'm a big Etienne guy. Hopefully that first-round pick ends up being early. Can't get my pick back from the owner I traded with it in the draft, so at a loss for what to do next. Oh my gosh, okay. If we don't have our 2024 first, we are going to be in a very tough spot here, my friend. And if we don't have our 2024 first, I mean, that ETN deal probably doesn't look great. Trade Breece Hall to a contender for a haul, or should I just wait it out? I know it's a mess of a roster, but I could really use some help for you. Appreciate all you're doing for the community. Keep it up. No, thank you so much, my man. And let's go ahead and let's look at this first. So just in general, it's a 6-point passing touchdown Superflex league. You are getting a slight tight end premium format as well. I mean, in reality, we don't need to be making too many adjustments based off that league formats. What I do want to be looking at is the amount of starting lineup requirements that we have. So it is a 1 quarterback league. I thought you said this was Superflex. You said 12-team Superflex, but it looks like a 1 quarterback. Oh, no. Okay. No, it's a deeper starting lineup. Okay. That is really nice. Okay. So we are going to be starting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. So it's going to be a start 11 league. So in general, we're definitely wanting to build around depth here. And we are definitely wanting to go ahead and just try to add in as many like wide receiver 2s as possible, right? I mean, there are a lot of teams that get sent my way. It's like a 10-team league where they're only starting 8 guys. And there I'm like, okay, man, you have 6 guys on your bench that look like Brandon Ayuk. Let's go through and let's try to make some 2-for-1 deals. Let's just get upgrades in the starting lineup and let's just go ahead and sell all these depth wide receivers for just the best thing that we can get. Here, it's almost the exact opposite, right? I mean, if it's a 12-team league where we are having to go ahead and we are having to start 11 guys, then at that point, I mean, we're going to be trying to sell the 1 asset and get 2 in return. We're going to be trying to go ahead and we're going to be trying to sell, say, DK Metcalf and get Brandon Ayuk and Deontay Johnson, right? This is that type of format. But going into the starting lineup, I mean, if we're looking to punt for the future, Tua at quarterback alongside CJ Stroud, Desmond Ridder, I'm fine with it. Now, I will say if Desmond Ridder starts off hot this next season and you can go through and you can flip Desmond Ridder for a considerable amount, then yeah, don't be hesitant. Like, be quick to sell Desmond Ridder if you get the potential to sell him for a 2024 first rounder, which, I mean, hell, it's a possibility. You could see Desmond Ridder going out there and starting off hot when he has Drake London, Kyle Pitts to throw to. Now, going over to running back, we have Breece Hall, the running back 2 in Dynasty, and Breece Hall is young, right? So I don't necessarily think this is a situation where he's like Christian McCaffrey, right? And we're a rebuilding team and you're going, you know what, man? I literally have no use for this guy in the future. I'm going to have to go through and I'm going to have to sell him to the highest bidder. I'm going to have to possibly sell him for 75% of his actual value. Breece Hall is a little bit different where we have a little more flexibility where at the end of the day, this is someone that we would definitely prefer selling if we can, but it's not a requirement. Like, you're not going to be in a spot where you hate that you got stuck with Breece Hall, right? I mean, Breece Hall will be a running back that, I mean, is in my mind kind of better on a contending team or on a team that's halfway through. If I'm a true rebuilder, I would rather sell running backs for cornerstone wide receivers, right? I mean, I would love to go through and sell Breece Hall for like CeeDee Lamb on a rebuilding team, or I'd love to go through and sell Breece Hall for like Jahmyr Gibbs in a 2024 first. If we can make a move like that, I think honestly, it will probably be a little bit of a no-brainer, my friend. But of course, it's all about the value. I mean, if you're going to go through and sell Breece Hall and the most anybody will give you is some random 2024 first, then at that point, no, we honestly probably shouldn't look to sell Breece Hall. So it's interesting. I do agree with the sentiment that if we are truly rebuilding and we're not looking to contend this year and possibly not looking to contend next year, I think that we should look to go ahead and look to rebuild. Okay. Now look to sell Hall. Going over to wide receiver, we have Odell, we have Chark, we have Alec Pierce, we have Jordan Addison, which we're excited about. And then going down to the bench, I mean, we don't have too much to be playing around with. So in general, I mean, it's obviously fun for me to say, oh yeah, let's go ahead and let's sell Odell Beckham Jr. Let's see what we could get. In reality, it's much tougher to actually pull that off because in reality, the true contenders that would be interested in Odell Beckham Jr., they're really not going to need him, right? I mean, if you really need Odell Beckham Jr. to make a push, you probably shouldn't be contending in the first place. So we're kind of stuck with him on our roster. I'd say the same thing about DJ Chark. Now, of course, the first time that these guys maybe pop off, the first time that all of a sudden you are able to go through and you are able to sell one of these wide receivers for a second rounder, we do it in a heartbeat. But it's just much tougher than you'd actually think. Now, going over to tight end, we currently have Robert Tonyan. We down there on the bench don't have too many players to be excited about. We have Dalton Kincaid. Like I said, these rookie tight ends aren't really going to produce. So in general, my man, we are in a very, very bad spot. And I don't mean to be an ass about it, but I just want to be realistic and try to come up with a plan to fix this going forward. I don't think this team has any shot to contend in 2023. I don't think this team has any shot to contend in 2024. The first thing that I look to do is take Breece Hall and approach the owner that has our 2024 first. And this is why trading away your future first is always the riskiest thing ever. Because if you find yourself in a position where you have a team that's not able to compete and you don't have your future first round pick, it is so much more difficult, so much tougher. Because in general, if you have your own first round pick, all right, let's burn it down. Let's earn the 101. Let's bring in Caleb Williams this next season. We can't really do that here. So what I would like to do is sell Breece Hall, try to get our 2024 first rounder, plus a little bit extra on top. I don't think we're going to be able to get 3 first round picks for Breece Hall if we're including our own, because that other owner probably knows it's going to be early. But if we could sell Breece Hall and get our 2024 first, and then maybe at the same time, I mean, not even another first round pick straight up, but we throw in someone's random second, and we also get back, I mean, another first round pick, that'd be really nice. So let me just recap this. We trade away Breece Hall and a random second in 2024, and we get back in return our first round pick and their first round pick. So we're selling Breece Hall and a second for 2 future first. But if we can get our first round pick back, and then at that point, we're able to go through and we're able to get the 101 and get Caleb Williams, I think we'll be in a much, much better position. We won't even be ready to compete in 2024, however. And for that reason, I think that also Tua can kind of go on the block. It really is going to be dependent on the actual value that we could get for him. Like if you could sell Tua for the equivalent of what is 2 future first rounders, let's go ahead and let's do that as well. Like if you could sell Tua for maybe like, I would say Quentin Johnston in a 2024 first, just continuously sell these veteran producers and try to pick up future assets. I think that's really the only move that we can look to make from here. But I know you said that the owner is not willing to trade you your 2024 first round pick in return. We have to at least try. Like I would try to be a little aggressive there, because if we can pull it off, it'll make our life so much easier. But I know usually we go much deeper and we do like 4 to 5 teams per live stream. To be honest with you, I probably did 8 hours worth of yard work in the yard, recorded a video, and this is my second live stream of the day as well. So I am beat. I still have a lot of work I need to do around the house. So I'm actually probably going to cut this one here. We do have a question coming up from Troy. Says, how do I get my team on there? Thank you so much, my man, for coming and hanging out with us. First thing is sign up for flockfantasy.com. Use promo code FLOCK. Second thing is join our Discord. Send your flockfantasy.com username in the join here section of the Discord. Give the developers a day or 2 to manually link your account. And when they do, you'll be notified. And when you are notified, then you will have access to the roster submissions tab if you sign up for flockfantasy.com with promo code FLOCK in the Mother Flocker tier. Then you send your team here, and then you're good to go, my man. I'll go through and I'll break it down, whether or not it's on a live stream or a personalized podcast, whatever you prefer. It will be DM'd to you. That way you don't miss it. But thank you. Really do appreciate y'all. Really do hope you have a great night. And yeah, I hope I get to see you with the live stream tomorrow.